When you're young, you thrash your body around and you push it and you're just like, oh, it's fine, because you've never had to deal with it not bouncing back. Before I was diagnosed, I was 18 and I was doing everything that 18-year-olds do. I was going out, seeing my friends. I was just pretty regular from the western suburbs. So I had been sick for about 6 months. I went to the GPs 6 times in that 6 months, and they always just put me on antibiotics and just said, you'll be fine, you'll get over it. And then it got to the point where I couldn't go to uni, I couldn't go to work, I couldn't see my friends because I was just so in much pain and I was so uncomfortable. So I was finally referred to a specialist. He said, you are actually really, really sick. We're going to send you straight to the Alfred, and that's where I spent my next 2 weeks.
Ulcerative colitis is a strange condition. It's an inflammation disorder of the large bowel, which can look a little bit like the bowel is rubbed with sandpaper, and it's one of these strange conditions that can come in attacks and may settle spontaneously, but with a high chance of recurring in future months or years.
As soon as I got there, they put me on tablet steroids, which are meant to suppress your immune system, so it wouldn't be so intense in attacking me. They put me on blood tests every day. Sometimes I had blood tests twice a day. They had me on x-rays every second day to make sure my bowel hadn't ruptured. So they had to put an NG tube, which is a feeding tube, up my nose and down my throat, which was the worst experience. I was crying and vomiting because it's just it's a surreal, horrible sensation. And I had several procedures during my stay at the hospital to check on everything, and the steroids were not working. They said, all right, we're going to put you on an IV steroid, and that did nothing. And they're like, all right, this is getting really bad. You're going to get really sick. If your bowel ruptures, you will die. So they booked me in on 2 days' time. They booked me in for a surgery where they take out my colon and part of my bowel, and then they replace it with a stoma bag, which is a bag which attaches to the front of you, and all your waste goes in there. And that was horrifying for me to think about, because I was 19. And to be 19 and face the possibility that you might die was really hard, and I know it was really hard on them. Yeah, it was really difficult. Like, we all tried to stay happy and stay positive. They came in to cheer me up, and I didn't want to drag them down to where I was mentally, because it was really, really hard. But I wanted to protect them. I wanted to protect them from what I was going through, because it was bad enough I had to go through it, and I didn't want them to suffer too. So yeah.
Well, these are really frightening situations in people who are young, who have previously been well and now have such severe disease that they're in hospital having heavy drugs intravenously, unable to study, to work, fearful for their lives.
For whatever reason, the next day I woke up and I said to my doctors, I feel a little bit better. And they were like, why? You weren't going to get better. We booked in the surgery. So, and then they're like, all right, we'll hold off. And then the next day, the day of the surgery, I'm like, I feel a lot better. And they're like, okay, we'll cancel it and we'll see how you go. The next day, my doctor came in and she goes, oh, I've got good news. I said, oh, God, this is weird. And she goes, there's signs of rapid healing on your colon. And I was like, oh, so what does that mean? She goes, that means you get to go home. it was a massive, massive relief, because I was like, okay, like I beat it once, you know, that means the medication worked for me the first time. So if I do get sick in the future, hopefully it'll work again. It just gave me a lot of hope that, you know, if I can do it once, I can do it again. So I really tried to focus on getting my health back and my fitness, which took about 2 months to really get back to where I was. And then fully my body, I don't think it recovered for about 6 months afterwards. So it's 100% changed my perspective on life and health and wellness, and just how you should live your life. And yeah.